We begin with our group at the Pokemon Center, where, after winning his 8th and final gym badge, Ash is ready for the Unova League. But after receiving his Pokemon from Nurse Joy, she, like Cannon, tells him that the Unova League won't happen for another 3 months. That's bumming him out, but he decides to train in the meantime. While he is still walking the hill, Cilan evaluates some trainers, and after seeing this, Nurse Joy tells him that when the annual connoisseur contest is happening in Locanosa Town, excited Cilan and the group makes that their next destination. The group have now left Ovalusa and is now crossing the village bridge, where Cilan is both excited and nervous, so he decides to evaluate Ash and Hilda's Pokemon. He gives a new evaluation thanks to their growth. Once done, Ash and Hilda tell him that he can do it, and with their support, Cilan looks forward, determined to fulfill his dream. After a few more days, our trio have arrived in Locanosa Town. After receiving some directions from locals, they make it to the stadium. Cilan, with a look of confidence, leads the group inside, where he registers and meets the rest of the competition. But Cilan's look of determination, ready to defeat these connoisseurs and make his brothers proud. The annual Connoisseur Convention has 2 sections, and with the first being a written exam where 5 participants get narrowed down to 3. All 5 struggle on the test, but they all do their very best. Eventually, though, time runs out. But they turn in their tests, and the 3 that pass are Henry, Elisa, and Cilan, advancing them into the main round, the evaluation match, where the connoisseurs evaluate each other in the audience and make their votes online. And the winner will get their rank boosted up class, you know what I mean. And starting off, we give Henry. He gives a brief and kind of smug evaluation on both his competitors. Then we go to Lisa, who gives a much better, more sweet and detailed one impressing Cilan. But then it's his turn. And from the heart, Cilan gives a great and detailed and amazing evaluation on both his competitors, and which not only amazes them, but the audience, making Ash and Hilda smile. Once done, the crowd gives their votes, and the results are as follows. Our third place goes to Henry due to his rather short and smug explanation. Second place goes to Elisa for a detailed and sweet but kind of vague. And number 1 goes to none other than Cilan. Thanks to his amazing skills and evaluation. And with that, Cilan officially gets a class upgrade, officially ranking him to an S-class connoisseur. But the crowd goes wild, but Ash's will celebrate. Afterwards, Cilan shares a brief but sweet moment with his Pokemon, thanking them all for this hard work. And afterwards, the other connoisseurs show up, congratulating Cilan and saying that they all plan to raise their classes too. Cilan supports them and says that he knows they can all do great. Afterwards, Cilan heads outside where he reunites with his 2 companions, thanking them for support and help in his dream come true. And with that, the group continue on their adventure. Our trio have now arrived in Flossie Town, and while enjoying the sights, they see Alder with a boy in a similar outfit and hairstyle, with a former battling a woman with a guard shop and blonde hair. And to Ash's surprise, it turns out to be Cynthia. But the battle is intense, but eventually they choose to end the battle there. Ash runs up to the Jew champion, and the boy suddenly runs up to Ash and sees his Pikachu, thinking it's cute, and Ash even allows him to pet it. But Alder introduces the boy as Benga, his grandson. But Cynthia is happy to see Ash again. As the 2 champions catch up with Ash, and Ash gets to know Benga better, Cilan and Hilda stand where they are, shocked. Completely flabbergasted over the fact that Ash's friend's the world-renowned Sinnoh champion. Ash introduces them and they snap out of it. And they're somewhat nervous, but they manage to calm down. Eventually, Benga challenges Ash to a battle, saying he wants to see what this guy from Kanto can do. Ash accepts. they agree on a trill battle between Laron, Gebel, and Scraggy versus Archeops, Crocodile, and Pikachu. The battle is going pretty well, as Banga, despite not participating in the league, is shown to be quite skilled in battle. Ash acknowledges this, but doesn't let this deter him, and after a long pretty good battle, Bill Ash gets the upper hand and launches a triple combo attack, winning the battle. Banga is bummed out by his loss, but congratulates Ash and praises his strength. Ash thanks Banga, and the two shake hands, but vowing the battle again. But Ash's friends in the champions praise the two as well. Banga promises the train hall and show even more great battles, with his grandpa supporting him. Afterwards, Cynthia approaches Ash and tells him that she's staying in a villa in Unova at Lakanosa Town with a friend of Ash's and invites him and his friends to stay there. They agree and say bye to Alder and Banga as they ride a boat there. After a long, nice, relaxing boat ride, the quartet arrives in Undella Town. Now, amazing into how nice it is, and eventually quickly head to Cynthia's villa. The gang then head inside, and when Ash gets to the living room, someone suddenly sneaks up and taps his shoulder. Ash turns around after being played with for a bit, but he finally sees the culprit, and it's none other than his old friend Dawn. Ash is shocked to see her again, but happy, and the two reunite into their signature high five. Afterwards, Ash introduces Hilda and Cilan to Dawn, and the conversation goes somewhat similar to canon, with the two discussing how far they've come. I'm talking about Hilda's and Cilan's goals. Also, Dawn even mentioned she on one of Elise's fashion shows, which makes Hilda fangirl. Afterwards, the five head outside, and the four kids sound their Pokemon and meet one another. And we get a fun moment with everyone. We get a warm unity in Dawn's team in with Ash and Pikachu, especially with Amy Palm and surprisingly Quilava, who fall from her Cyndaquil. Pikachu's using his Unova friends to them, and the fire types bonding, and Baneri cuddling up to Pikachu, and so on and so forth. After introductions and catching up, Ash asks Dawn for a battle, wanting to do some training before the league and see how much stronger she's gotten. Dawn is about to accept, but Cilan cuts in, asking Dawn to battle him first, while saying he wants to put his new status as an S-class connoisseur to the test, and also wants to see how coordinator battles. Also, Dawn, wanting to see how a connoisseur battles, agrees, and while disappointed, Ash allows it. The battles between Pansage and Piplup, and while I will give details, things play out the same as canon. While Dawn shows off her growth, both Cilan evaluates her and Piplup. Both what skill they are as a gym leader and coordinator and connoisseur in Cilan's case. Eventually, the battle comes down to a solar or an ice beam collision, and when the smoke clears, it's a double knockout. Now, both thank each other for a great battle and their Pokemon, praising their strength. And with that, the group ready to spend the rest of the day at the beach. Next time, we cut to Ash's dream, but he once again finds himself in the thunderstorm, which surprises him. But no, when I say but, I don't mean that he's shocked that he's in the thunderstorm. He's shocked at what he sees in the thunderstorm. Instead of the Arcstone, it's the shadow of Zekrom, but starting a blue lightning and glowing eyes. The two stare at each other until suddenly, Ash wakes up. Shocked that the dream is still there, but there's more to it this time. Later on at their breakfast, though, Ash is outside thinking about Anne, Reshiram, Zekrom, and the whole Team Plasma thing. And while lost in his thoughts, he's approached by Cynthia, who asks if everything's okay. Ash is a little hesitant, but tells her everything about the stones, his dream, and Anne. And Cynthia is surprised, but admits that Alder talked to her a bit about this during his battle with Banga. Ash assures her that he's fine and that he can do it. Cynthia doesn't doubt him, but requests a battle to see his resolve. And Ash readily agrees. They agree on a one-on-one battle, and it's Garchomp versus Crocodile. But only when Ash battled Drayden's Crocodile, this was a lot tough. I mean, this is Cynthia we're talking about. Ash has shown his skill, and he is showing I'm pretty good, but unfortunately, Cynthia and Garchomp are just on another level. They do manage to land a Dragon Claw, but it isn't enough, and Garchomp finishes the battle with Brick Break. While bummed, Ash thanks Crocodile and praises Cynthia's Garchomp's overwhelming strength. Cynthia smiles and tells Ash he's proved himself and that she knows Zekrom picked the right trainer. And afterwards, we're to send out the rest of their Pokemon and go for a nice walk together. While this was happening, we cut to Hilda, who's trying to get ready for the Pokemon Model Show. Elaine's a little awkward. She's unsure how to do it when she's approached by Dawn. Seeing Hilda struggle, Dawn decides to help her out by showing off some of her contest moves, but doing it in just in pose. But she can incorporate them into a shoot as the contest killer Pokemon make great poses. And after some practice and goof ups, Hilda and her Pokemon take lots of great pictures and great poses. Hilda thanks Dawn, who's happy to help, but then challenges her to a battle. Hilda is shocked and confused, asking why. Dawn says for two reasons. One, their goals are somewhat similar, and two, but she wants to see what she can do. Hearing this, Hilda accepts. Hilda then calls Cilan and asks him to watch while Cynthia returns from her walk with Ash. Watching they all witness the battle between Audino and Quilava. Ash is excited to see both his two female companions do get it, and is excited to see Quilava's new strength and that they're evolving. Unlike this was actually pretty somewhat, as thanks to Ash and Cilan's battle experience and help knowledge, Hilda does have a pretty good fight, and Dawn praises that, explaining how she also got great advice from Ash and an old friend and a both of theirs named Brock. The two Uzuka both give it their best, but Dawn thinks we're more experienced and conscious strats over Hilda and Ardino, winning her the battle. But Hilda thanks Ardino and praises Dawn's strength, while Dawn says Hilda wasn't at herself. So as the others congratulate them both, and that ends another day at the villa. The next day, the group wake up and find that Cynthia's gone. Dawn finds a note in the refrigerator that tells them that she's out sightseeing and doing some research on Unova's legends. And so realizing they have the data themselves, Ash decides to train, but Hilda suggests they also easy like her, and check out some other places. Hilda and Cilan agree, with the former wanting more pictures and the latter wishing to value more trainers. Ash is slightly reluctant at first, but he agrees, saying it would be cool to see more of Eastern Unova. They leave a note in case Cynthia comes back before them and head out. We then cut to them inside the marine tent, where they see all sorts of water Pokemon from in and outside of Unova. They are amazed. Hilda takes some photos. Not like Pokemon photos, she just takes a photos in the full, or them Pikachu and Piplup. Afterwards, they head out to and reach Humilau, where they admire its beauty. They then proceed to walk down to see more, but then Ash accidentally bumps into someone. He apologizes and helps him back up, but he brushes it off. Both sides introduce himself, with the trainer introducing himself as Hugh, explaining that he's on a journey to enter the Unova League. Like Ash is about to. However, he's about to obtain his last year gym match, with this being his 7th. Then Ash was slightly moved by the fact that he can't take on this gym or any others, which makes Dawn, Cilan, and Hilda chuckle a bit. However, Ash says he does want to see how the gym leader here fights and asks if he can see Hugh's battle. Hugh, though a little reluctant, agrees, no, huh? So I says sure. Alright, they then make their way to the gym and meet the gym leader, Marlin. While they're doing some swimming, accepts Hugh's challenge. The battle is a 2-on-2, starting with Jellicent versus Galvantula. But despite having the tight advantage, though, Marlin's giving Hugh a run for his money, especially thanks to the battlefield, making the battle intense. But Hugh refuses to give up, and eventually ends the battle with a final Electro Web. Marlin's impressed, but then sends out Mantine. Hugh goes for Electro Web again, but it doesn't work, even though Marlin's Jellicent had the Cursed Body ability. After this, Marlin quickly gets the upper hand, as Mantine is fast and powerful both in and outside of the water. And after landing a of attacks, even confusing with water. Both Scalvantula is out. Well, Hugh thanks Scalvantula and decides to fight water with water, sending out his first ever Pokemon, Samurai. Well, it's a water type show, which he needs to. Both are great if they're using Gym's battlefield. Things are intense for a while, but come down to a Mega Horn acrobatics collision that ends in Samurai's victory, winning him the battle and the Wave Badge. We then cut to back outside, where everyone congratulates Hughes, and then suddenly a commotion is heard, so they split up to investigate. Ash, Hugh, and Marlin split up into one group. We meet three people who introduce themselves as Team Plasma Shadow Triad and challenge the three of them to a battle. They immediately accept, but Ash notices that Hugh looks quite angry. As he asks Ash and Marlin to back him up, they agree and a battle breaks out, both sides going hard. But eventually our group prevails and the Shadow Triad disappears. But tells Ash that the end will be waiting for him when the time is ready. We then get to Hilda and Cilan, who battle dudes in blackout, but the symbol on their chest makes it clear to Hilda and Cilan it's Team Plasma. They use older gen Pokemon. Despite this, our group managed to prevail and they retreat. Ends at the Duosion. We then cut back to the group outside. The groups, they all reunite and discuss what happened, where they informed about Team Plasma, talk about their new outfit, and Hugh's rage against, which is revealed because they stole Soul Sister's Purloin, which is also why he's entering the Unova League to become strong enough to defeat any Team Plasma member. Hearing this, the others sympathize with Hugh, but Ash assures him that Team Plasma will be stopped. Afterwards, Marlin arranges them both and take them to Burbank City, where Hugh plans to win his final badge. They thank Marlin, hop on the boat, and head off. However, we then cut to a flying ship called the Plasma Frigate above the giant chasm. Where inside, Getsus finds the legendary Pokemon Kira with its sound asleep. He instructs Colress to go for it. On the ship, Colress activates the device. He's excited to finally begin the plan. And stands behind himself and says to himself, Ash, it's almost time. We then get back to a group who have just arrived in Burbank Dock and head into the city. Following the gym leader isn't there, so in the meantime, Hill suggests they visit PokeStar Studios. Once there, they take in how cool everything looks, like a movie theater. But suddenly, a frantic man named Christopher alongside Bryce, then Elisa, and the gym leader Roxy show up. Before the trainers and gym leaders catch up and get into the unfamiliar face, they ask what's wrong. I explain that the movie has been delayed due to staff and acting shortages. Hearing this, the group, the kids decide to help out, and with that, they head inside the studio and are given their roles. Hilda's the camera woman, Elisa is the computer woman, and the others are the actors. Everyone heads inside the film room, but during filming, things kind of don't go. Well, Roxy and Bryson do pretty good. And surprisingly, also sort of silent. Hilda has some perfection issues with the camera. Dawn developed were a little too elegant. Zora was a bit awkward working with someone other than Hilda. Like Hugh has no acting knowledge, and Ash is horribly stiff and awkward. This causes some problems, but with some advice from the gym leaders, they manage to do much better. Even ad-lib for stuff they goof up. It takes a few days with trial and error, but the film is completed. They then go to the theater and watch the movie Light in the Dark. In a crime-riddled city, a trainer who just moved in and must gather allies to stop the Dark Trio. After a good while, the movie ends and it does well. Outside the theater, Christopher thanks everyone and gives them all passes for a job well done and leaves. Afterward, after checking out some more movies and stuff around PokeStar Studios, the gym explains the movie out. Bryson's got another movie. Elise, Roxy's gonna prepare for Hugh's challenge, and Elise is headed to Undella Town. But not before revealing that the Pokemon show is 3 days away. Afterwards, the next, with our group back at Verb, trying to find the gem. After a while, search, even with Hill and Cilan's map knowledge, they find it and find the window. They approach it, and Ash says he got this. Hugh thanks Ash, and they head inside. And with Rocks, which is finishes some rocking guitar. Afterwards, she accepts Hugh's challenge, and it's a 3-on-3. They're starting with coughing versus Furthorn. The battle is kind of one side. Despite being immune to poison type moves, coughing is very fast and is durable to deflect most of the attacks, and even uses flamethrower, doing major damage. Frothorn can't keep up and still goes down. The next Pokemon sent out is Arcanine, who manages to keep up with Coughing's speed and lands some good attacks and knock it out. The next Pokemon is Scolipede, but this battle is a bit more intense. Scolipede uses Rolla and gets the upper hand. And eventually, after a tough battle, both fall down. The final battle is between Garbodor and Gigalith. It's a battle of powerhouses. Both had heart and are pretty good tanks. Gigalith struggles more due to being slower, but as on time attacks, finishes the battle with a Rock Tomb, earning Hugh the battle in his final gym badge, which is the Toxic Badge. Everyone congratulates Hugh and he thanks them all. The next day, after leaving the Pokemon Center, the group says goodbye to Verbank as they ride the boat back to Humilau. On the boat ride back, the fuel is getting weaker, so they're forced to make a stop at Scout Shop Island. They ask some locals for the Elven, so they decide to split up. Cilan, Hilda and Dawn decide to go look for the fuel, while Ash and Hugh decide to do some training together. But they're also with the Scouts semi-year tournament. The Juice to go there. The boys register and meet other trainers of the Oshawott line, with actually reuniting with William from Esquilby Town. The tournament plays similar to Camp, but only 3 of the things they kept from Camp: Scout Shop hitting, and they threw a target, breaking some skill failures, and performance rounds, which Ash actually dominates thanks to his previous performance experience in Sinnoh and Hoenn. After these, the battle rounds begin. We go through a montage of the quarterfinals, with Ash, Hugh, and William being the stand as they and a girl named Angela advance to the semifinals. Ash battles Angela in a Dua versus Dua clash, which ends in his victory. After this, Hugh battles William in a Samurai versus Samurai clash, and while it's intense, Hugh also comes out as the victor. But which leads to the finals of the tournament, Ash versus Hugh. The battle is intense as both show off their strength and respective battling styles. The two continue to duke it out, but Samurai gets the upper hand and defeats Dua. Winning Hugh the tournament. Ash congratulates him as Hugh receives the Golden Scout Shop. The Golden Scout Shop as prize for his victory. However, Ash is also given a Silver Scout Shop for second place and for his great skills with Dua. Afterward, Ash and Hugh reunite with the others and they leave the island after refueling. One nice boat ride later, the group finally arrived back at Humilau. Hugh decided to split up for the group for some solo training, but not before shaking hands with Ash, and the two fell in the battle again there at the League. And as Hugh leaves, the group heads back to Cynthia's villa, to help Hilda prepare for the Pokemon show. A few days later, after some more practice, the group arrived at the stadium where the Pokemon show will be held. Hilda has her Pokemon register. She feels ready, being like Cilan and a little nervous, but like she did for him, Cilan reassures her alongside Ash, Dawn, and Cynthia. But Hilda thanks them before she can walk in, and Bianca shows her, reveals she's competing, wanting to give it a try and to see her idol again. But there's a Alright, but happy to see her again and officially go in. The event starts with Lisa giving a speech and explaining the rules. The competitors will send all of their Pokemon and will pose for the cameras. Whoever does the great poses win. Afterwards, she steps down and our 5 competitors are revealed. Zoe, Caitlin, and Elia, Julia, Bianca, and Hilda. We then get a fun montage of everyone doing their best as their Pokemon, showing off their great model skills. Well, some do better than others, but they all have a lot of fun. Eventually, though, it's Hilda's turn, and using a combination of everything she's learned in her journey so far, her Pokemon do pull great stunts for the camera. Afterwards, the audience submits their votes. After they've been tallied up, the winner is revealed to be Hilda. But Hilda is ecstatic and tears up as action friends cheer her on. Hilda receives her trophy for first place and it'll be a great on camera one to take balls of Pokemon. However, Elia gets infuriated and tries to take the trophy from Hilda, but she trips, and Team Rocket reveal themselves. Ash and over deal with it, and rather quickly, and send Team Rocket blasting off. Outside the event, and Lisa congratulates Hilda and praises her and Bianca's growth, wishing them both luck in their futures, and leaves. Both girls will thank her and vow that they'll make their island proud. Bianca says she's going to explore a bit more of the area, bidding farewell to the group for now. Promises the root for Ash of the Unova League. And the group say bye to Bianca and head back to the villa. Back there, our group are just taking some relaxation time. I'm chilling at the beach, each hanging out and talking to each other, and just having a nice break from the whole thing. Eventually, though, the last day comes, and Dawn and Cynthia unfortunately go back to Sin. Now, before they head off, Dawn and Ash finally get to have their long-awaited battle. Like her previous battles, it's a 1v1, but this time it's between Pikachu and Ambipom. But from the start, things are action-packed and intense. Both know each other really well, and the battle shows. Throughout the battle, both show off all the grossness parting ways, pulling out some counter strategies and even the counter shield. Cynthia hit Hilda and Cilan look on in awe, amazed at the battle they're watching. Eventually though, Ambipom finishes right at the end of the battle with one on a double hit, and Pikachu clashes with Iron Tail. Now, two continue to get out, but eventually it comes down to a swift and thunderbolt collision. Eventually, Thunderbolt overpowers, knocking out Ambipom, winning Ash the battle. Both think they're Pokemon and praise each other's growth. And then afterwards, we cut to the airport, where Dawn and Cynthia appear to board the plane, as the former says she is heading back home, hanging out with her mom, while Angie's been training for whenever she does, for whatever her next contest will be. Lara says that the league needs her. And also some other events that Sinnoh might go down. Both sides say goodbye and thank each other for everything. Dawn and Cynthia wish Ash luck in the Unova League, and Cynthia secretly wishes Ash luck and stuff. Knowing that he can do it. After one fun high five with Ash, Dawn and Cynthia board the plane and fly back to Sinnoh as Ash looks on with a smile, ready for the Unova League and to stop Team Plasma. And that's where we're gonna end this part. So, what did you all think? How was Dawn and Cynthia's return? You happy? And with Dawn, Hilda and Cilan reaching their goals and look forward for the Unova League. That's coming after this. Well, something before the Unova League, but still. Well, with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.